Christmas, navigating rising floodwaters and winter weather advisories. First responders dealing with massive pileups and home emergencies. Motive for murder? The mother from Texas found strangled in a car trunk. Tonight, her parents speaking out, what they're saying about their daughter's best friend now under arrest, what they think is at the heart of this crime. Plus, dangerous spill, the moment caught on camera. A large crane crashing down on a barge, leading to an oil spill in one of the most pristine and protected parts of the planet. The crew diving overboard to escape. Now, the rush to contain the environmental hazard. Forced out, Boeing firing its CEO, the world's largest aerospace company reeling amid mounting questions about those two deadly crashes involving its now grounded 737 MAX jets. Plus, open water attack. The California surfer facing down a shark, airlifted by a Coast Guard crew. The one thing that kept him alive, what he's telling us tonight. Down to the wire. Still shopping? The last-minute tips to get the right package at the right price right under your tree. And Zoo Scare, the little boy and big tiger, the fright of a lifetime.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Yamas, in for David tonight. And we begin with the massive storms across the South and West as many Americans begin making their way to join friends and family for the Christmas holidays. Parts of Florida picking up as much as 10 inches of rain in the past 24 hours alone. Those drenching rains making their way northward tonight. Officials still cleaning up this pileup. Take a look at that in Virginia. Nearly 70 cars involved. Plus stormy weather in the west, firefighters racing to save a man after a giant tree fell on top of him as Christmas Day rain and snow head straight for California. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in Miami, starting us off tonight.
Tonight, powerful storms rocking both coasts as millions hit the roads and skies. In Charleston, heavy rain combined with high tide swamping streets across the low country.
Downtown, it's been a mess down there, street closures and still raining.
In Atlanta, this driver learned the hard way not to drive through flooded streets. The same system brought more than a foot of rain to parts of Florida. In Fort Lauderdale,
airport completely flooded.
Roads to the airport flooded and ponding on the runways, forcing officials to shut it down for a time.
How long have you guys been waiting?
About over an hour.
In the west, an atmospheric river dumping buckets of rain on Southern California.
We have one victim trapped under a large tree.
Rescue crews managed to save this person caught under this massive tree that also took out this home.
Find out how long we're going to be out. I imagine it'll be a while.
And in San Diego, this big rig crash sent the driver to the hospital and spilled fuel on the freeway. And on Sunday near Williamsburg, Virginia, nearly 70 cars piled up on Interstate 64 in foggy, icy conditions. Dozens taken to area hospitals. That major highway shut down for hours.
And Tom, this storm, it's not over yet. Flash flood watches are up in the Carolinas through tomorrow. And as for air travel here at Miami International Airport, definitely seeing that higher passenger volume that they were expecting. And it's going to pick up again the day after Christmas, typically one of the busiest days to travel during the holiday season. Tom?
Victor Oquendo at a very busy MIA. All right, Victor, thank you. For more now on the storms out there, let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. And Rob, there's actually a big warm-up also ahead in the east.
Yeah, that plus really three unique storm systems impacting the U.S. right now. We'll start with the slowest and wettest, still hitting the southeast. Here you see it on the radar, the rain rotating through the Carolinas and across northern Florida, and that will continue through the overnight period, eventually winding out tomorrow. In California, we're having heavy rain in some parts of Los Angeles to San Diego, into Las Vegas and Phoenix through tomorrow. That storm kind of fizzles, but the next one up comes in Christmas days for all of California through the southwest, quickly into the plains over the weekend. That one goes coast to coast, but it should be mostly rain because, as you mentioned, we've got mild air in place for Christmas Day. Temperatures will be a good 10 to 15 degrees above average. Tom?
All right, Rob, thank you for that. Now to the tragic story we've been following out of Austin, Texas. That mother found dead in the trunk of her friend's car. Her parents speaking out tonight, blaming their daughter's friend for her death and what they're calling a terrible betrayal. Here's ABC's Kaylee Hartung.
Tonight, the mother of Heidi Broussard speaking out about her daughter's murder and the best friend who stands accused of kidnapping Heidi and her infant. Tammy Broussard saying of the recent allegations, this is just unreal, because to even fathom that a person you thought was your friend to do this, it's just unfathomable. Heidi and baby Margot last seen on December 12th, before vanishing. Her fiance tearfully pled for their safe return.
Bring her home safe, or put her somewhere safe. Her and the baby just...
After a massive week-long search, the horrific twist. Police found Broussard strangled to death in the trunk of best friend Megan Fieramusca's car. The baby was found unharmed inside her Houston home. Fieramusca now facing 2 charges of kidnapping and 1 charge of tampering with Broussard's corpse. Police are investigating if this was a plot by Fieramusca to steal the baby and pass it off as her own. Broussard's mom now saying she'd been uneasy with Megan from the beginning, adding, "Everybody loved her. We thought Megan loved her too, but evidently that wasn't the case. She wanted Margot, is what she wanted." Tonight, Heidi's friends and family reeling over the accusations Fieramusca's facing.
Anger is still the top of my list of emotions right now. It's just complete anger because you were supposed to be Heidi's friend.
All right, Kaylee Hartung joins us now from Austin. And Kaylee, while officials have charged the best friend with kidnapping, it's been 72 hours since they filed those charges, but still no murder charges for anyone.
That's right, Tom. No homicide charges have been filed, but officials here in Austin tell ABC News they expect more charges in the coming days. Tom?
Kaylee Hartung with some of that new reporting for us tonight. Kaylee, thank you. Now to the giant shakeup at Boeing, the board firing its chief executive following the fallout from the 2 737 MAX jet crashes that killed 346 people. And we're learning the fired CEO is in line to get a multi-million-dollar payout. Here's ABC senior transportation correspondent David Curley.
With nearly 400 brand new jets sitting on the ground, the 737 MAX assembly line about to shut down, and the weekend failure of Boeing's new spacecraft to reach orbit, Boeing's embattled CEO, a 35-year company veteran, Dennis Muilenburg, is out, fired by the board of directors, despite his intention to stay.
These 2 accidents happened on my watch. I feel responsible to see this through.
Those 2 accidents in Indonesia and Ethiopia linked to a new system on the 737 MAX, which Boeing said could be handled by a well-trained crew. Boeing developed software fixes and announced it would start delivering jets again this month. That angered the FAA. The new head of the regulator saying certification would not happen this year and telling his workers they should not feel pressured.
I want you to take the time you need and focus solely on safety. I've got your back.
Boeing tapped its chairman, David Calhoun, as the next CEO, who's already talked to the head of the FAA and the airlines. There are reports tonight of additional embarrassing messages between Boeing employees about the system that apparently contributed to these 2 accidents being handed over to congressional investigators. Meanwhile, we've learned that the fired CEO has the potential for nearly $40 million severance package. Tom?
$40 million. All right, David, we thank you for that. Next to Washington in the battle over impeachment, Christmas week doing little to quiet the volley of attacks between Republican and Democratic leaders. Democrats are demanding witnesses in the Senate trial, and tonight, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's not ruling that out. ABC senior national correspondent Terry Moran with the latest from Capitol Hill.
Stalemate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, speaking on Fox and Friends, claims he's open to calling witnesses in a Senate impeachment trial.
We haven't ruled out witnesses. We've said let's handle this case just like we did with President Clinton. Fair is fair.
But the offer comes with a catch. A majority of senators would have to approve, and so far Republicans are following the president's directions. Now, new evidence is emerging. The Pentagon released emails showing that on July 25th, just 90 minutes after President Trump asked President Zelensky of Ukraine to investigate the Bidens, Office of Management and Budget official Michael Duffy asked the Department of Defense to please hold off on nearly $400 million in military funding to Ukraine.
But an OMB spokeswoman insists it's reckless to tie the hold of funds to the phone call.
Democrats want to call Duffy as a witness.
So we say to President Trump, if you are so confident you did nothing wrong, why won't you let your men testify?
Meanwhile, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, looking to up the pressure on McConnell, continues to delay formally handing over the articles of impeachment, explaining in a tweet today she can't until we know what sort of trial the Senate will conduct. Pelosi has seized on McConnell's acknowledgement that he is not an impartial juror. McConnell's message to her, get real.
Do you think Chuck Schumer is impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise.
All right, Terry Moran joins us now from Capitol Hill. And Terry, President Trump is in Florida for the holidays, but that hasn't stopped him from tweeting attacks on Speaker Pelosi.
That's right, Tom. He is in Florida and tweeting. He's accusing Speaker Pelosi of trying to, quote, take over the Senate, saying she should let this trial go forward now or, quote, default and lose it. It is hard to see what kind of leverage Nancy Pelosi has or whether her unprecedented impeachment tactics help Democrats in the impeachment or hurt them. Tom?
We'll have to wait and see. All right, Terry, we thank you for that. To Afghanistan now, and word that an American service member has been killed in action. The Pentagon confirming the death, but not yet identifying him. The Taliban claiming responsibility. It's the 20th American combat death in 2019, the deadliest year for U.S. troops in the last 5 years. Now to the warning for American service members when it comes to those popular consumer DNA tests. The Pentagon sending out an advisory warning troops to avoid using those tests. The Defense Department memo says the tests expose sensitive genetic information to outside parties and could pose a security risk. Next to the courtroom decision in Saudi Arabia, raising many questions tonight, Saudi state TV confirming 5 people have been sentenced to death for the grisly murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. Tonight, human rights agencies and others calling that verdict a mockery and a whitewash. Here's ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell.
Tonight, 5 sentenced to death in Saudi Arabia for killing Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The writer, a critic of the royal family, was last seen walking into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul last year. Saudi claims they sent a team to persuade him to return to the kingdom. At first, they insisted the dissident left the consulate alive. Then they claimed he was accidentally killed in a fight. They then admitted a member of the team murdered Khashoggi. The CIA's determined the murder was likely carried out on orders from Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. But he denies it, telling 60 Minutes,
Absolutely not. This was a heinous crime.
Today, the court ruled there was no prior intention to kill. But the publisher of the Washington Post is now blasting the trial as a sham. It was held in semi-secret, the Saudis refusing to identify the men condemned to die. Still, they did reveal that 3 suspects, top aides of the Crown Prince, would not be charged. The Saudis and the Trump administration, which has largely stood by them, are likely to hope this ends the affair, but it risks doing the opposite, with so many questions left unanswered about what really happened. Tom?
Ian Pannell, who's been covering this story from the start. Ian, thank you. Next, the developing story out of one of the world's most revered ecological landmarks, the Galapagos Islands. A crane toppling, sending crew members overboard and oil gushing into the waters. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
A cleanup is underway tonight after this crane collapse sent hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel into the pristine waters of Ecuador's Galapagos Islands. Watch as the crane tips forward, unable to handle the weight of the container it was attempting to unload from the barge. The tumbling crane crashes into the barge as workers leap off the side before it capsizes. Staff from the Galapagos National Park and the Ecuadorian Navy immediately set up containment barriers and absorption cloths near the sunken vessel to prevent further contamination and harm to near-surface creatures. The islands are home to some of the most exotic wildlife on the planet and are listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tonight, local officials say an investigation is underway into the cause of the accident.
Authorities say that they are carefully inspecting the area and measuring any possible effects on this fragile ecosystem. Tom.
All right, Lindsay, we thank you for that. Back here at home to the fast approaching Christmas holidays. Just 2 days left, and all the last-second shoppers feeling that familiar procrastinator's pinch. Our Adrian Bankert with the key shipping deadlines and deals just about to expire.
It's crunch time for last-minute shoppers hoping to select the perfect gifts for friends and family in time for Christmas.
Who are you shopping for this close to Christmas?
Oh, God, all the guys. I don't know why I have such a hard time shopping for the guys.
It's not too late if you're shipping your gifts. Next day and same-day delivery is still available on Amazon, and retail giant Target offers same-day delivery through tomorrow. If you're mailing gifts yourself, you still have a few short hours to use the U.S. Postal Service's Priority Express Mail, UPS Next Day Air, and FedEx's Express Overnight option. It's a procrastinator's paradise as retailers roll out some of the deepest discounts of the year. At Best Buy, the 65-inch LG TV is discounted